All right, hey everybody, good morning. I'm Lewis Turner, got Lee Southwood. Did you lose power at your place?
Lost power at my place over by the beaches. Yep, and then family in Nassau County, they lost power too.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I think that's the story. Had it all, just kind of inside the business here, we did a little shift change around 1 a.m. and coming in and kind of trying to drive up in 95, Lee, coming from the beaches, trying to get around what is still Category 1 Hurricane Helene. I'm in the northwest quadrant of St. Johns County, and I know everybody was kind of holding on with those power outages, but if you're watching, you don't have power, you're doing it by the light of a lamp or flashlight, welcome in. Hopefully power crews can get things going quickly. We're sort of, at least in certain parts of our area, at 2 o'clock in the morning, we're kind of in the exhale, but there are some places that are still getting punched in the teeth by this storm. So here are your current conditions. This is the 2 o'clock update, Lee.
And so 90 miles an hour, so still
you got that Category 1 condition.
As it continues to move inland, I mean, that's fairly strong for an inland hurricane. Of course, it is weakening as it continues to move inland, but for our friends over in Waycross, they're still getting slammed by this.
And we mentioned Waycross, obviously the largest community there in Ware County, but for Ware, for Pierce County this morning, the next, and I know this is something that may replay over a couple of hours, but at the 2 o'clock hour, we just want to be hyper-focused on you at the moment because you're talking about some hurricane force winds potential here and looking at the radar loop for Waycross, a couple of leading edges. We haven't had any tornado warnings, knock on wood, since 11-ish last night for Columbia County, but we are still in that tornado watch till about 6 o'clock in the morning.
I'll say one thing I like to see down for Lake City, Columbia County, a little bit of a dry slot moving in there. They need that break, so a little bit of a break in the rain. Still windy out there though, of course.
Absolutely. So kind of zooming in. So again, right downtown Waycross, but thinking about all of Ware County and then up towards Blackshear and Pierce County too.
Yeah, and then even over towards the coast, that one band really right along our beaches from Brunswick and then down, look, past Ponte Vedra. So all of those beaches getting hit with another band there as well. Yep,
overnight we're going to have this band extending, and so as looking at St. Johns County, looking at Putnam County, even Flagler here over the next 30, 45 minutes or so. These things are just racing towards the beach. Now, as Lee mentioned, a better look on the wide shot of the drier air trying to get sucked in essentially behind Helene, which will help for conditions improving, but you're still going to be dealing even early morning hours as the sun's coming up. We're still going to have 20, 30 mile an hour winds out there. So with saturated ground, if you are one of the fortunate people to have not lost power, still would be possible with trees coming down throughout the morning. So my emphasis is even if we get to the clear and we get sun coming out, and it's a day to stay off the roads at least in the morning while crews can get working, things like that. So putting our current wind speed and direction on, I think it's underselling Waycross. And that could be a sensor issue. We've seen some things. That's still at Category 1 strength. Hurricane Center is still saying 90 mile an hour winds possible. So gusts to 80 and up for our friends in Ware County and then in Pierce County, certainly going to be a issue.
Yeah, and then do you have the wind gusts as well?
Yes, so let's go to the gusts here.
So still picking up in Waycross, definitely, but like you said, I think it's underselling it a bit.
61 gust at Mayport, though, 60 NAS jacks, and I've written it all down in my weather diary. But you had some information about it.
I do, actually, if we could go over to Max 2. There we go. All right, so here's some peak wind gusts. So Mayport, 80 miles an hour for your peak gust. Neptune Beach, 75. At the airport, 72.5. NAS Jax as well also had 71.4. And then Lake City had 69 miles an hour. And then just some other ones that we're watching too. And we will continue to update this. Jekyll Island, 68. Craig, 65.5. Brunswick, 64.4. St. Augustine, 59.8. Of course, I'm waiting on places like Waycross as well. So this is just currently at 2 a.m., but we could get other reports in.
I was going to flip back. I wanted to kind of take us through our day-to-day, and then I know you've got some other things as far as a look around specific regions. But we have our weather impact alert day. I still think for our first half of Friday, I know the conditions improving quickly, but I've kind of highlighted the first half of the day, and notice the weather icons improving quickly. I still think by 5 to 7, we're dealing with some gusty, strong winds. All day it's going to be breezy, you know, the breezier conditions, especially out of the beach. But we do, I mean, by lunchtime and into the afternoon, it's going to get a lot better.
I do have that county by county graphic if
Let's
you want to
see.
go through that.
By
All
all
right,
means.
so let's go through this. It's just going to take us area by area. When do conditions improve? So for places like Columbia, Baker, Union, and Bradford, this is all just model data. Of course, we're going to continue to tweak this throughout the morning as we are watching current conditions and seeing how it's acting. But it looks like the rain already, we're in that dry slot. But I think most of that rain will have moved to the north by 4 a.m. Winds by 6 a.m. are likely dropping below that 40-mile-per-hour threshold, and by 9 a.m. under that 30-mile-per-hour threshold. And the tornado watch ends at 6 a.m. as well. And then for places like Ware, Charlton, Brantley, and Pierce, it said by 9 a.m. under 40 miles an hour. I'm going to watch that, you know, but this is expected to move north fairly quickly, so we could see those conditions improving later on this morning under 30 by 11 a.m. And then for places on the coast, Glynn, Camden, Nassau counties, it looks like your rain, okay, so these need to be corrected. So this is rain. Let's look at the icons instead.
Yeah.
Rain done by 4 a.m. Your wind by 8 a.m. I think you'll be under 40 miles an hour. 2 p.m. under 30 miles an hour. It looks like it's going to stay gustier along the beaches.
Absolutely.
And then also same for places like Duval, St. John's, Clay, Putnam, and Flagler. The rain coming to an end. The worst of it by 6 a.m. We'll have to watch for those extending bands though. And we could still have a few showers popping up throughout the rest of the day. Looks like for the wind, you'll be under 40 miles an hour by around 8 a.m. but under 30 by 2 p.m. And all across the area as of right now, that tornado watch ends at 6 a.m.
All right, so we mentioned the 40 kind of mile an hour range bridges, you know, that's kind of the magic number with that. So we think if we get under 40 mile an hour sustained or gusts, things are going to be improving. It'll just be kind of more of a blustery day out there for you. Get under 30 and it's getting about normal, right? And also setting up, if you are thinking ahead to a weekend, conditions a whole lot better.
Yes,
So,
definitely.
kind of Helene in a nutshell right there. Did you have any other graphics you want to show the folks?
That's all for right now. I'll go correct that other one though.
No,
to
it's all good.
fix it to rain and wind.
This has been a bad one. I mean, 100 coming on shore, you know, with Helene, kind of a bigger picture. I'm going to zoom back a little bit. I just kind of want to look at the bigger radar shot of this hurricane yet again. And I say hurricane, but it's still, as of 2 a.m., a Category 1 storm moving into South Georgia, which is just wild that it's maintaining such strength as it heads into center Georgia and up towards Atlanta, where they're going to have, and what this becomes now is a massive rain event for the Appalachian Mountains and the rivers and streams, the flooding that'll occur there. For them, they've been experiencing the rain. This has been just a massive, for us, not the rain event, right? Because it was so fast moving. We had the bands, certainly more wind, but for the Carolinas, the upstate North Georgia, the Eastern Carolina mountains, Tennessee mountains as well, you're going to see potential for some pretty big river flooding. So still, the post-mortem on Helene can't be written fully until we get maybe even to the first of next week when we see what happens after all that water is put down on all the mountains there. Another impressive look here. This is your infrared satellite imagery, and with that eye, I mean, it's still very organized. What you want to see as it moves into land and moves deeper inland is that eye just collapse and you don't see that clear vision. So that's why in Waycross, and as this moves through into Pearson, up and over Blackshear, and ultimately what's going to happen, it's going to make more of this northwestern turn, backing up towards North Georgia and through Atlanta as well.
And then you were just talking about the rain. So for Atlanta, and I just kind of wanted to show us with the radar loop over the cone, you can see how Atlanta is already being slammed with that heavy rain before it even makes it there. I was actually talking to Shaz Parani. His family lives in Atlanta. He's from Atlanta. He says this is going to shut down the city. They don't know how to, not that they don't know how to prepare for rain, but when they get this much rain, that city
Plus
not fully
tropical storm
prepared
force
for
winds.
it. Exactly. So, I mean, Macon, our friends in Macon as well, all of them, all up and down Georgia, really dealing with a bad rain situation. You kind of just see it when you put the cone over it. The center of the storm, nowhere near there yet, but unfortunately, they're still just getting slammed with all of that rain. And then also something to notice too, let's just talk about how weird this cone is up here as it starts to move to the west, and then it's going to kind of stop. So it's going to be all the way over here Friday 8 p.m. and then back here, that's the Sunday 8 a.m. So it's going to kind of slow down over Tennessee.
Yeah, a lot of water to be put in the mountains there. Rain event for them, and a lot of flooding that will happen in North Georgia, the Carolinas as well. So that'll do it for us. We're going to be back on TV at 3 a.m. every hour until Good Morning Jacksonville begins. And then we'll just do Good Morning Jacksonville as normal. So we'll see you there starting at 4:30 as well. In the meantime, stay safe, folks, and we'll be back in touch.
This has been a First Coast News on Your Side special report tracking Helene.